The Acolyte got cancelled, and the stars come out. The star, sorry, does she count as a star? The lead has come out and commented on the cancellation. I was waiting for her to do this. I haven't done a video on this on the main channel yet, and I really should. I really should do.
I knew it was coming.
Let's how. But basically, she's come out and basically just all the normal talking points that you can imagine. It wasn't a huge shock that it got cancelled. All right then, because apparently it was a rampage of vitriol. All right, love. Or it could just be that you know, made something that was utterly garbage. I mean, it couldn't possibly be that, could it? Could it? No. Definitely, it's just vitriol. Definitely. Yeah. Power of one, power of two, power of many. Getting your show cancelled. So anyway, let's have a look and see what she says. So she said this, look, it's not a huge shock for me that it was cancelled. Of course, I live in the bubble of my own reality. Sure you do. You're a narcissist. But for those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced. When it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it. That's when we started experiencing a rampage of hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. I mean, God. Let me just read that again. That's when we started experiencing a rampage of hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. This really affected me when I first got the job, because it's just not something, even though I anticipated it happening, it's not something you can fully understand what it feels like until it's happening to you. It has been an incredible honor and a dream for me to be in this universe. And I just want to let those people know out there who supported us in that way and supported us vocally in the face of all the vitriol that we received and the targeted attack, I would say, we received by the alt-right. That's right. The alt-right was involved as well. Pesky, bloody, ultra-conservative alt-right. Just that you are deeply loved and appreciated, and it made this job all the worthwhile for me. There you go. And I have to thank Leslie Headland. I just effing love that beach. One of the best people in the world. She's so incredibly talented and uniquely retarded. And I will love this experience with her forever. So I mean, what'd you say? Hyper-conservative, the alt-right was involved. I mean, bigotry, hatred, hateful language, targeted attacks. I mean, it's everything under the sun, isn't it, really? What'd you say? What can you say to it?
She went with the alt-right. That's very 2014.
Yeah.
They've moved on to far right or extreme right these days. Alt-right, that's pretty old school.
The alt-right?
Yeah, it's just nonsense. It's all the buzzwords. It's completely hollow. It's like it's just playground nonsense, isn't it? It's honestly, it's people that don't know really what they're doing or saying. You know, you must know people that are so sort of vacuous. They're such an empty bag of a person that they just spiel out phrases and terms, words that they don't know really what they're saying, what they're doing, and that's what that read like to me. Look, the bottom line is it was crap, and that's it. And people let you know. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else to it. It's got nothing to do with what the alt-right, what right-wing politics, conservatism.
I mean, it wasn't that, was it? It was just going, this ain't Star Wars, mate. Just what you doing? No thanks. Like, I don't want to watch weird, like a weird, just cult of women in a weird, like, fortress and a bizarre song, and it was just weird. It was bizarre. It was odd. It was terrible writing. Nothing made sense. They were sort of telling you that Jedi were actually bad, but they're trying to make them out to be bad, but their decisions were actually good things. They were like essentially child protective services. It's such a weird thing to do. The whole creation of this show was the strangest thing. And the writing was just terrible. Just bad writing. Bad writing. Awful. Bloody awful. But I also, as well, I guess what she's actually saying is that everyone that likes Star Wars and didn't like this is apparently the alt-right and hyper-conservative. Apparently, that's right. You like Star Wars, you're hyper-conservative.
It's funny. Last thing I'll say on it, just real quick before the other guys jump in, is the idea that alt-right, again, right-wing politics are hyper-conservative. The type of the political philosophy of conservatism, like William F. Buckley's got anything to do with it, or like Tucker Carlson or something, right? You know, like Evola has got an opinion on the Acolyte or something. It's absolute nonsense. It's someone that doesn't know what they're saying, and it's a child. This is a child speaking who knows nothing.
Oh, she is actually, to be fair.
Yeah, I literally know. I literally know men and women that are on the left that hated and trashed this show. This was one of the more uniting shows that we've gotten from Star Wars, because it united most everybody on the side of this show sucks. Even a lot of the people that defend the sequel trilogy and Kenobi and Ahsoka and all these other terrible shows, even they were on the side of this is terrible, this sucks. What the hell are they doing? So obviously she lives in her own little bubble where she gets her NPC programming update and just follows the programming, and doesn't think for herself or do any real research or actually understand what's going on. So she's just got to, repeat the talking points like a dumb parrot. All right. Like what's going on? Like, shut up.
This is a 25-year-old, might I add, just to let everyone know how old she actually is. This is a 25-year-old trying to make it expressly political when it was nothing but it couldn't be any further from politics in its critique. Everyone was just like, this is bad. Like, this is just actually bad.
She has both the approach to life of a 12-year-old, and not only the emotional integrity that she has, or validity. Her emotional IQ is garbage. Her approach to her statements is garbage. She was using the word vitriol in such a way as I don't believe she actually had ever used the word in her life, and probably just looked it up.
Yeah.
I was going to say that does come from. She looks like someone that's just opened up a buzzword selector. Right, we'll use all of these today.
Yeah, and look, I mean, she's hyperbolic in everything that she does. She doesn't provide receipts. She never has. Look, if you can show me that you've gotten 10 death threats, great. I mean, I'm sorry that that's happening to you. I'll help you fight against that. But if you're saying that and you have no evidence of it, I don't believe you. And that's the position that I start. Anybody that does this from this side of the situation, especially if they're going at it like people didn't watch my show, therefore they're bigoted. Well, so no, they didn't want to watch your show. You didn't make a good show.
They do this all the time. It's so frustrating. So, the companies know what they're doing as well. So they did this on Rings of Power. So they were like, right, we're going to make a black elf, right? And you're like, okay, well, that is stupid, right? It's stupid because it's not. Season 1 having a black elf is expressly the opposite of what the elves were established as in Lord of the Rings, and the very reason they were created and what they were supposed to represent. So having a black elf is just the polar opposite of all of that. And them casting an individual for that role, they know exactly what they're doing, because they then go, oh, we're going to make this show, and also all of the terrible other writing that they do, and then they wheel out these individuals, and then they go, you're just racist. Actually, it's like no. The criticism is completely justified, but the studios behind the shows, and this is not an example of that, but it's very similar. They wheel out the race card to bat away any actual criticism. So this is similar, but it's not from the studio; it's from the actor. So she's trying to make it political as opposed to addressing all of the actually just solid, valid, objective criticism of the show about how it was poorly written, poorly directed, bad,
Yep.
you know, just generally awfully, you know, sort of constructed. Like, no. It was all politics, actually. No, no, numbnuts. No, it was nothing about politics. Like, not 1 ounce of politics came into any of my reviews. I didn't mention anything about anything remotely right wing in my reviews. It was just, this is bad. This is terrible writing. What on earth is going on? You know, this narrative is heading a direction that doesn't make any sense. They're never going to be able to wrap this up. This is bad. But no, conservatism, I guess, is to blame.
Nick made a good point when he mentioned NPC, like a non-player character. Just like prejudice, hatred, bigotry, like you know, it's like an actual robot.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, right, if you do something, kind of anything, really, and you get the sort of the world, reality kind of rejects you, you know, more or less wholesale, right? The best thing to do is slink away and be quiet. You know, don't hit back with anger. That's not a good look. Like, if you ever get dumped by a girlfriend or something, it's not great to go around screaming in her face, right? If you make a piece of art and the world hates it, don't then get angry at the world. It was a crap piece of art. If you do something, if you write a book or you write a song and no one likes it, right? Don't get angry at the world. Just look inwards and try and do better next time, right?
Yep.
That's all you do.
That's what normal people do, Bo. These aren't normal people.
Right, yeah.
Well, you know
in sport, one last thing I'll say, you know, in sport, when you concede a goal or whatever it is, you don't go mad, you go quiet and you try and collect yourself, right?
You try to figure out how to prevent that in the future. You internalize and think about what it is that happened to get you to that point that made you lose that goal in your case or whatnot. But I mean, this person is so immature on every level. Again, emotional IQ is low. And immediately I'm like, you are such an introverted narcissist. In that the outside world might as well not even exist for you. You have your bubble that isolates you from everything else, and everything else is beyond it. Now, I'm going to point something out because she comes out and says dumb thing like this. You know who actually did the show was Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslie Headland, right? She actually came out before the show came out and started to say, if this thing goes wrong, it's my fault. Right at the very beginning.
I don't either.
Yeah. So she took accountability for the show. That's what a showrunner is supposed to do. The actor should just agree with her. Yes, it was your fault, Leslie. Our show sucked balls. Well done. Yeah, so there it is.
You know why? You know why there's such an issue now with a lack of accountability or self-reflection, right? And I've often thought this. I stand by this. We live in, we saw the end of actual competitivity as children, right? So at one stage there was first, second, and third winners, and then everyone else was a loser. Okay, and then what they started to do was introduce participation awards. So you'd all get something just for turning up.
Yeah.
And it removes, we have to lose as humans. We have to actually lose. It's character building, right?
Yeah, we have to fail too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Fail, lose. It's all the same thing. You have to experience that. It's character building. It strengthens you as an individual. You have to feel that from an early age to then look introspectively and go, oh, well, why did I lose? Actually, I don't like this feeling. Let me get better at this, or actually, I'm just never going to be good at this anyway, so I'll move on to something else instead. But they didn't do that. And so, especially in the UK, and I know it's in the States as well, everyone just gets participation awards. And so what we live in is what I call PAGs, the Participation Award Generation. And so this is a PAG. This is a Participation Award Generation individual just bitching and moaning that they didn't get an award for turning up. It's like, well, no, you do actually have to make something good, right? Like, you do actually have to make something half decent. You can't just put any shit on the screen and people go, woo, fine, like, oh, there you go. No, love. That has to be good as well. But I swear that is the downfall of a lot of Western society now, is people just got given stuff for turning up. It's like, no. Side note there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Just to build on that, or repeat really what you've said. I absolutely agree. This idea that you never failed. Whatever you did was good and worthy. Whatever you did, you're worth it. Whatever you did, you get a round of applause for, or some snaps for. Yeah. And if you never experience failure, real proper sort of skull crushing humiliation failure, if you never experience that, you'll never be a fully rounded adult human being.
Yeah.
You will remain emotionally retarded, as culture said. You will remain a child emotionally.
Yeah.
And that's what this actress seems to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something else is people don't suffer consequences anymore for stuff.
That's true as well.
There's no consequences for a lot of these people's actions and blowing all this money. It's just like, I still got paid, on to the next thing,
Yeah, well, failing up, isn't it? That's what Hollywood does as well. Just failing up. So there you go. I thought this was quite funny. We've got some super chats about this though, so we'll get to them now. So we got this is Matthew Hewitt's first ever super chat. So thank you so much, man. Sends in, and salute to you. Send in £5 and says she means straight white dudes, doesn't she? Probably.
Yeah,
probably. But yeah, thank you so much, Matthew, my dude. I would encourage you, send it via Streamlabs if you can, though. But again, still, thank you so much. Olaf has been a member for 22 months, our fantastic moderator in the chat, doing a great job. And says, besides that, this generation can't deal with the word no. Too spoiled to get everything they want, not used to struggle and earn something. Yeah, that's the thing. Life is hard, right? Like, not to get too deep on it or any of that nonsense, but life is hard. Like, life is shit. Like, life is really, really, really hard. And the younger you are when you start to realize this, not to remove someone's innocence, of course, but when you start to get a handle on the fact that life is pretty brutal, again, age appropriate, of course, the better, right? The sooner you understand that life is harsh and it has problems, and it's not going to be an easy ride, the better for you as an individual, because you will come out the other end of life significantly better off than someone who feels like they're entitled to everything.
Yeah.
Right. Understanding you've got to work for stuff, and that even if you do work for stuff, you're not always going to get it. The sooner you learn that, the better. And as Olaf says, too many people don't, they don't get no. They're not used to struggling. They don't know how to earn stuff. So
I grew up with an older brother who would relentlessly beat me at all games, right? would never go soft on me, sort of ever, right? But when eventually, sometimes I did win, you knew it was real.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You knew he didn't let you win, and you honestly, legitimately
and a sense
won
of
that one.
accomplishment with that
And
as well, right?
and it was so, because sometimes, like, you play your mum at checkers or something, and she'd let you win, and even when you're 8 years old, you knew she'd let you win, and it's hollow.
Yeah.
You're like, ugh, right? You've got, Anyway, that's just a small one.
That's good. I like it. You got one from Marshmallow, says it's worse. They went and bought their own trophy. Yeah, that is true. Again, just failing up now as well. Darren Reborn sent in $5.30. I've got to read this one out. Lesbian forehead headland was most likely scissoring and pum pounding every woman, they, them, and maybe even those femboys on the show to care about her garbage show.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Right, there we go. Anyway, we'll move on from this now. It was a good time. Good
yeah,
fun.
it didn't seem to. I mean, take all the bad writing and bad directing and bad acting and all that away. When you actually watch it, it doesn't feel like there was any love injected into the show.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like Alien Romulus, you can see it in there. The love they put into that.
Yeah, 100%.